Welcome everyone. The topic for today's module is edge coloring of graphs. As in this module, we are going to discuss about edge coloring of graphs. The only graph colorings we have considered so far is vertex coloring. There is another coloring called edge coloring that we will discuss in this module. As with vertex colorings, where the primary emphasis has been on proper vertex colorings, the customary requirement for edge colorings is that adjacent edges be colored differently, resulting in proper edge colorings. You will see that the subject of edge colorings is closely related to matchings and factorizations, and that this area has applications to problems of scheduling. Let us see the definition of edge coloring. An edge coloring of a graph G is an assignment of colors to the edges of G, one color to each edge. If adjacent edges are assigned distinct colors, then the edge coloring is a proper edge coloring. Let us see the definition of K edge coloring. A proper edge coloring that uses colors from a set of K colors is a K edge coloring. Thus, a K edge coloring of a graph G can be described as a function C which is defined from E of G to the set consisting of elements 1, 2, etc. K such that C of E is not equal to C of F for every two adjacent edges E and F in G. Let us see the definition of K edge colorable. A graph G is K edge colorable if there exists a K edge coloring of G. Let us see the definition of chromatic index. It is also called as edge chromatic number. The chromatic index or edge chromatic number chi dashed of G of a graph G is the minimum positive integer k for which G is K edge colorable. Furthermore, chi dashed of G is equal to chi of L of G for every non-empty graph G, where L of G is the line graph of G. If a graph G is K edge colorable for some positive integer k, then chi dashed of G less than or equal to k. Further, if an edge UV is colored by color C, we say that C is represented at both U and V. If G has a proper K edge coloring, E of G is partitioned into K edge disjoint matchings. It is clear that for any graph G, chi dashed of G is greater than or equal to delta of G, where delta of G is the maximum degree, since the delta of G edges incident at a vertex V of maximum degree of delta of G must all receive distinct colors. For bipartite graphs, however, equality holds. Let us see the definition of edge independence number. The edge independence number alpha dashed of G of a non-empty graph G is the maximum number of edges in an independent set of edges of G. Furthermore, if the order of G is n, then alpha dashed of G is less than or equal to n by 2. Let us see some examples on edge coloring. So, here we are graphing graphs. So, consider this graph first. The same graph I am considering here. What I am going to do here is I am going to color the edges. So, we already learned about vertex coloring where we colored vertices, but here we are going to color edges. So that adjacent edges do not get the same color, it should have the different color. So, look at here, I gave a different color to all the edges, that is here I gave C1 to this edge and C2, C3, C4, C5, there are 5 lines here or edges. So, I used 5 colors here to color for proper coloring of the edge. So, here since I used 5 colors, this is 5 edge coloring of the same of the graph. I consider the same graph here where I used 4 colors. So, I am going to call this as 4H coloring, where you can see here I used C1, and for this C2 here C3, the same color C3 I can give to this edge also, because these two edges are non-adjacent. So, I am giving the same color C3 to here and C4 to here. So, since I used 4 colors here, this graph is a 4H coloring graph. But always in coloring, I want to find the minimum color that is required to color the edges with the proper coloring. So, I can even reduce the number of colors. Look at this diagram, the same graph, I am gonna use only 3 colors to color this graph. That is, I am going to use the color C1 for this edge and color C2 for this edge, because these two edges are adjacent. I cannot use the same color C1 to this edge also. And since these two, that is V5, V4 one edge and V5, V4 edges are adjacent to each other, I cannot give the same color C1 to this edge also, but I can give the color C2 to this edge, because these two edges are non-adjacent. Similarly, I can give different color C3 to this edge and consider this edge V2, V3. V2, V3 is adjacent to this edge V1, V2 and V5, V2. Therefore, I cannot give the color C2 and C3 to this edge, but I can give the color C1 to this edge also. That is, I color this graph only by using 3 colors, and we can see that 3 is the minimum number of colors required to color this graph. This is 3H coloring, and also the chromatic index or chromatic number of this graph with respect to the edge set is denoted by chi dash of H, and that is equal to 3. So, the chromatic index for this graph is 3, even though I can color the same graph by using 5H coloring, 5 colors, 4 colors and 3 colors, the minimum number is 3. So, therefore, the chromatic number or chromatic index here is 3. And for the same graph, what are we going to do is, we are going to find edge independence number. First, we are going to find edge independence set, and afterwards we are going to count the number of elements in the maximal edge independence set, and we are going to write that as alpha dashed of H, and I will be getting as 2. We will find that. Consider this graph, the same graph H. I am interested in finding the edge independence set. So, independence set in the sense that we have to collect edges, that is we have to collect non-adjacent edges. So, here if I have taken this edge V1, V5, and this, since I have taken this edge, I cannot consider this and this and this, because these 3 edges are adjacent to C1, but I can consider this edge V2, V3. So, therefore, the first set will be comprising of the edge V1, V5 and the edge V2, V3. Therefore, the cardinality there is 2, but is that a maximum edge independent set? We will figure it out. If we consider this edge V5, V2, I cannot consider this edge as well as this edge. Therefore, the singleton set V5, V2 is an independent set there. And if I consider this V3, what happens? V3, V2, I cannot consider the edge V1, V2, V2, V5 there. So, I can consider V3, V2 and V5, V4, and there also I will be consisting of only 2 sets, that is V2, 2 elements V2, V3 and V5, V4. I cannot consider V5, V1 also, because V5, V1 is adjacent to V5, V4. So, anyhow, my maximal edge independent set will be consisting of only 2 elements, and here we are interested in finding the cardinality of maximal independent set, and we are going to denote that by alpha dashed. In vertex, for vertex independent set, we denoted by alpha. Here for edge, we are denoting by using dashed. Alpha dashed of this H is equal to 2, because the maximal, the cardinality of maximal independent set is 2. Now, we are going to see a theorem that relates chromatic, that is chromatic index, H chromatic number of a graph. So, look at the theorem. The theorem statement is, if G is a graph with size m greater than or equal to 1, we mean size by the number of edges. The number of edges denoted by m, that is greater than or equal to 1. Then chi dashed, that is chromatic index, that is chromatic number of an edge set of G is greater than or equal to m divided by alpha dashed of G. This is what we are going to prove. Let us look at the proof now. So, I am going to take a graph and I am going to take the chromatic number of that graph to be k, that is chromatic index of that graph to be k. Chi dash of G is equal to k, which means that the minimum number of color that I have to use in order to have a perfect edge coloring is k. And I am going to take the color classes as E1, E2, etc. Ek. Since I have used k colors, I will be obviously having k color classes E1, E2, etc. Ek. So, we mean color classes like E1 is a set that consists of all the edges that colored with the first color, and similarly E2 is a set of all edges that colored with the second color, and Ek is a set of all edges that colored with the kth color. Obviously, none of them will not be empty because we have already used k colors, right. So, no, none of them here is empty set. And moreover, when you look at the cardinality of Ei for every I varies from 1 to k, that should be less than or equal to alpha dash of G. Why? Because here if I color the edges with the same set, that means that edges are not adjacent to each other. So, alpha dash of G is nothing but the maximal independent set, right. So, here we will be collecting all the edges that are not adjacent, which means obviously each set, the cardinality of each set is less than or equal to alpha dash of G. This is true for every I where I varies from 1 to k. Now, listen, here what is the m? M is the size it is given. So, m is same as cardinality of E of G, that is number of lines in the graph, and that is same as here the edge set we have partitioned into color classes E1, E2, etc. Ek, and Ei intersection Ek is going to be empty set. Therefore, the total cardinality of edge is same as the summation of sum of the cardinality of all the k sets. Therefore, that is same as summation I varies from 1 to k cardinality of Ei. So, because the edge set is can be partitioned into color classes, I can write the cardinality of the entire edge set as the sum of the cardinality of the each color classes. And we already had this inequality, right. Cardinality of Ei is less than or equal to alpha dash of G, which means that this also holds for every I. Therefore, each Ei is less than or equal to alpha dash of G. So, for the first one I will be putting less than or equal to alpha dash of G, the second one I will be putting plus less than or equal to alpha dash of G, and for the kth one also I will be having less than or equal to alpha dash of G. So, if I take alpha dash of G outside, I will be having 1 plus 1 plus 1 etc. k times. Therefore, that is k into alpha dash of G, that which means that my m is less than or equal to k into alpha dash of G. And what is k? K is my chromatic index. From there, my chromatic index chi dash of G, that is equal to k. From this relation, k is greater than or equal to m divided by alpha dash of G. So, the result is proved now, but what happens if you get m divided by alpha dash of G as a decimal point? Here you have to consider the seal of that function, because you are having greater than or equal to inequality, you have to consider the seal of that function. Look at the example here. It is a graph that I consider. The order, that is the number of vertices is 7 and the size, the number of edges is 10. You can see from the figure, n is 7 and m is 10. First, I am going to find the independent set. So, if you consider u z and then vx, u z is here, vx, these two edges are not adjacent to each other. I can consider u z and vx, consider wy also, wy. So, u z, vx and wy are not adjacent, or not having the common point, incident points, which means these three lines are independent set, forms an independent set, which means alpha dash of G is the maximal independent set. Since here the cardinality is 3, my alpha dash of G should be greater than or equal to 3. And already there is an inequality regarding alpha dash of G, that tells us alpha dash of G less than or equal to n by 2. Here n is 7, so 7 by 2 is 3.5, and we are going to consider here the floor function because of the inequality, less than or equal to inequality. Alpha dash of g is less than or equal to 3 here. So listen, here we had alpha dash of g greater than or equal to 3, here we had alpha dash of g less than or equal to 3, which means alpha dash of g is equal to 3. So we found out the value of alpha dash of g, and now we are going to find chi dash of g. So according to the previous theorem that we learned, chi dash of g is greater than or equal to m divided by alpha dash of g. So here m is 10 and alpha dash of g is 3. So 10 divided by 3, if I consider a Ceil function, that will give me 4. So chi dash of g is greater than or equal to 4, and already chi dash of g is less than or equal to 4. This also we have because of the coloring, which means here I used 4 colors, right. So when you find the chromatic number index, you are interested in finding the minimum color, which means chi dash of g is less than or equal to 4 and is greater than or equal to 4. Equating these two together, chi dash of g is equal to 4. So this is one such coloring, which means I have to use 4 colors in order to color this graph. Let's see a theorem. If G is a bipartite graph, then chi dash of G is equal to maximum degree delta of G. Let's see the proof now. The proof is by induction on the size, that is number of edges m of G. The result is true for m is equal to 1. Assume the result for a bipartite graphs of size at most m minus 1. Let G have m edges. Let E is equal to uv belong to E of G. Then G minus E has a proper delta H coloring, say C. Out of these delta colors, suppose that one particular color is not represented at both U and V, then in this coloring the edge UV can be colored with this color and the proper delta H coloring of G is obtained. In the other case, that is in the case in which each of the delta colors is represented either at U or at V in G difference E, since the degrees of U and V in G difference E are at most delta minus 1, there exists a color out of the delta color that is not represented in G difference E at U, and similarly there exists a color not represented at V. Thus, if color J is not represented at U in C, then J is represented at V in C, and if color I is not represented at V in C, then I is represented at U in C. Since G is bipartite and U and V are not in the same parts of the bipartition, there can exist no UV path in G in which the colors alternate between I and J. Let P be a maximal path in G difference E starting from U in which the colors of the edges alternate between I and J. Interchange the colors I and J in P. This would still yield a proper H coloring of G difference E using the delta colors in which color is not represented at both U and V. Now, color the edge UV by the color I. The previous color that I told is I. So, now color the edge UV by the color I. This results in a proper delta H coloring of G. Let's see another theorem. If G is equal to Kn is a complete graph with n vertices where n greater than or equal to 2, then chi dash of G is equal to n minus 1 if n is even and is equal to n if n is odd. Let's see the proof now. I am going to take a complete graph Kn with n vertices. The first case I am going to assume n is odd. So, in that case draw G so that its vertices form regular polygon. Clearly, there are n edges on the boundary, because it is a complete graph now, and color the edges along the boundary using a different color for each edge. Now, each of the remaining internal edges of G is parallel to exactly one edge on the boundary. Each such edge is colored with the same color as the boundary edge. So, two edges have the same color if they are parallel, since it uses n colors and chi dash of G is less than or equal to n. We have to prove G has n coloring. Suppose let us assume G has n minus 1 coloring. From the definition, the edges of one particular color form an independent set in G. Since n is odd, maximum possible number of independent sets is n minus 1 divided by 2. Since G has n minus 1 coloring, hence there are at most n minus 1 by 2 edges in G. That is a contradiction. Since a complete graph Kn has n into n minus 1 divided by 2 edges, therefore G has n coloring and chi dash of G is equal to n. For case 2, I am going to take n as even and let V be any vertex of G. Clearly, G minus V is a complete graph with n minus 1 vertices. Since n is even, n minus 1 is odd. By the first case that we discussed now, G minus V has n minus 1 coloring. With this coloring, there is a color absent from each vertex and different vertices having different absentees. Now, reform G by joining each vertex of G difference V to V by an edge and color each such edge by the color absent from that vertex. This gives n minus 1 coloring of G, and hence chi dash of G is equal to n minus 1. So, we proved the theorem. Now, let us see the definition of a matching. Let G be a graph, two edges are independent if they have no common n vertex. A set M of independent edges of G is called matching. So, what do you mean by matching number then? The matching number is the maximum size of a matching in G and is noted by mu of G. Let us see a problem. In an educational institution, as is well known, teachers have to instruct various classes. Given the various classes, each teacher has to instruct in a day. How can we fit in a timetable? It is presumed that a teacher can teach only one class at a time, and that each class could be taught by only one teacher at a time. So, we are going to solve this. For that, let x1, x2, etc. xn denote the teachers and y1, y2, etc. ym the classes. Let Tij denote the number of periods for which teacher xi has to meet class yj. If there are constraints on the availability of classrooms, then what is the number or minimum number of periods required to implement a timetable? If the number of periods in a day is specified, what is the minimum number of rooms required to implement the timetable? All these problems could be analyzed by using a suitable graph. Let G of t comma c be a bipartite graph formed with t is equal to set consists of x1, x2, etc. xp and c is equal to y1, y2, etc. yq as the bipartition, and in which there are Tij parallel edges with xi and yj as their common ends. If T denotes the set of teachers and C the set of classrooms, a teaching assignment for a period determines a matching in the bipartite graph G. Conversely, any matching in G corresponds to a teaching assignment for one period. The edges of G could be partitioned into delta H disjoint matchings. Corresponding to the delta matchings, a delta period timetable can be drawn up. Let n be the total number of periods to be taught by all teachers put together. Then on average n divided by delta classes are to be taught per period. Hence, at least n divided by delta, that is our integral part rooms, are necessary to implement a delta period timetable. We present below a method for drawing up such a timetable. First, we are going to see a lemma. Let m and n be disjoint matchings of a graph G. So, we are having a m and n, they are disjoint matchings with cardinality of m greater than cardinality of n. Then there are disjoint matchings m dashed and n dashed of G with cardinality of m dashed is equal to cardinality of m minus 1 and cardinality of n dashed is equal to cardinality of n plus 1, and with m dash union n dash is same as m union n. Let us see the proof now. Consider the subgraph h is equal to g of m union n. Then each component of h is either an even cycle or a path with edges alternating between m and n. Since cardinality of m is greater than cardinality of n, some path component p of h must have its initial and terminal edges in m. Let P is a path starting from V0, E1, V1, E2, V2, etc. E2R plus 1, V2R plus 1. Now set m dash is equal to m difference E1, E2, etc. E2R plus 1 union E2, E4, etc. E2R, and n dash is equal to n difference E2, E4, etc. E2R union E1, E3, etc. E2R plus 1. Then m dashed and n dashed are disjoint matchings of G satisfying the conditions of the lemma. Using this lemma and the theorem that we learnt now, we proved another theorem that you can refer in the script, and as an illustration for that theorem, we gave the solution for the problem that we discussed, that also you can refer in the script. Conclusion. Dear learners, in this module we learnt about edge coloring, that is proper edge coloring, and chromatic index, and we have done some examples. We discussed some theorems relating chromatic index and edge maximal independence set. I hope this session would be useful to you in future, and thank you so much.